Yo, what is up guys, it's your boy Hoopz here back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Ben Simmons and what path he'll go on in the future. As many of you know, it seems like Simmons' career as a Sixer is coming to an end after many reports basically confirming that Simmons wants out of Philly and wants to go to another team. This has been going on for about a month, but a bunch of news has been dropping recently with more and more reports of teams trying to trade for him, so we'll be discussing all of that today. But before you do anything, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and comment what I should talk about next. But anyways, let's get straight into the video. First, let's talk about the drama between Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. It's been reported that Simmons has been ignoring phone calls from players and staff in the Sixers organization, basically making a statement that he's done with the franchise. In a recent tweet, Joel Embiid said, "I love the criticism. I love when I'm told I can't do something. It makes me work harder to prove everyone wrong, but not everyone is built like that," possibly taking shots at Ben Simmons, with Simmons obviously not performing to expectations in the playoffs and didn't really do anything about that. Next, let's move on to the teams that are interested in trading for Ben Simmons. Let's start off with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I personally think that Ben Simmons would be a great fit for the Wolves, providing defense and playmaking alongside Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. If you noticed how I didn't mention D'Angelo Russell, it's because he would be involved in a Ben Simmons trade. If this trade were to happen, the Sixers would trade Ben Simmons to the Timberwolves for D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, a 2023 first-round pick, and a 2025 first-round pick. This trade works for both teams, with the Sixers getting a good point guard replacement with D'Angelo Russell and a great offensive-minded player in Malik Beasley, alongside with 2 first-round picks for the team that could possibly still be in the lottery during those times. Next, let's move on to another team that's heavily interested in trading for Ben Simmons, the Toronto Raptors. As a Raptors fan, I do not want Simmons, especially with his contract. If we trade for him, we'd have to give up either Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam or get a third team involved, which isn't ideal. But let's break down the trade. If the Raptors did trade for Simmons, they'd have to give up Fred VanVleet, Goran Dragic, Yuta Watanabe, and a 2023 first-round pick. In my opinion, the Raptors shouldn't trade for Simmons unless the deal is too good to decline. The only way the Raptors would win this trade is if a third team is a part of the trade, but for the Raptors, they get the player they want that could provide more defense to a great defensive team, playmaking and finishing at the rim. And as for the Sixers, they get their new point guard in Fred VanVleet, who was consistent, but his numbers did drop this season after he got COVID, but before that he was still great. They also got a veteran point guard in Goran Dragic who could help the team win now. And yes, I know the trade said failed, but that's because it's currently not October 1st. So if this trade did happen, we would have to wait till at least October 1st. Next, let's move on to a more surprising team who got in the mix recently, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm going to be honest, the Cavs are a complete mess right now. They just recently got Lauri Markkanen, which was not a good move. They also just recently signed Taco Fall, which adds another big to their roster. And I honestly don't think that Ben Simmons would be a good fit. More reports say that he wants to go to one of the 3 playoff level teams in California. So if he did get traded to Cleveland, he'd probably be mad if those sources are true. But anyways, let's see how the trade would go down. The Cavs would be trading Colin Sexton, Kevin Love, Isaac Okoro, and a 2022 top 3 protected first-round pick. The Sixers get the main player in the return, Colin Sexton, who provides a ton of consistent scoring. They also get Kevin Love, which isn't great, but he's just a salary filler. And they also get Isaac Okoro, who was just recently drafted with the 6th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, so he could possibly become something good for the Sixers. In my opinion, the Cavs shouldn't really do this, because that'll just leave them with a few actual good players on the roster. Next, let's move on to one of the teams that Ben Simmons is reportedly interested in going, the Golden State Warriors. So if the Warriors traded for Simmons, they'd obviously have to throw in Andrew Wiggins, but that's not it. They'd also have to throw in James Wiseman and one of the recently drafted rookies alongside a 2023 first-round pick. And yes, I know it says failed again, but the Warriors would have to wait till the rookie signing deadline is over to complete this trade. This is obviously a lot to give up for the Warriors side, but the Sixers GM Daryl Morey has been asking for a high price for Simmons, so the trade might not happen unless the Sixers get the best offer they can get. There's been some minor reports that the Sixers only want Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, which is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard, but if the Warriors land Simmons, they could be in good hands. Next, let's move on to the Portland Trail Blazers, who have the best odds at landing Ben Simmons, according to multiple sources online. If this trade were to happen, the Blazers would have to give up CJ McCollum, Robert Covington, and a 2022 first-round pick. The fit is pretty good for both teams, with the Sixers getting an offensive-minded player who plays at an all-star level, plus a great role player in Robert Covington who could do multiple things to help the team win. For the Blazers, they get the defense they need alongside with playmaking and finishing as well. The only problem is if Simmons stays consistent, taking good looks, because Dame needs some help, and if Simmons doesn't get the job done, Dame will probably leave. There are a lot of teams that are trying to get Simmons that I didn't mention, like the Kings and Spurs, who would realistically not get the deal done. The Spurs don't really have enough assets to give for Simmons, and the Kings probably won't trade De'Aaron Fox or Tyrese Halliburton either. But that is it for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.